I'm Reanna Walls, and I'm a mortgage broker out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I got interested in AI primarily because my broker owner introduced me to it. I wasn't really super into that kind of space or aware of that kind of space. Is you sign up for HeyGen, and it's pretty cheap. It's only like $29, I think, for the lowest cost membership. So it's going to be your face, your voice, and then whatever you type into the system, it's going to turn that into a video of you. Is that when I tested it out myself, when I was giving a webinar in person, I tested it live while I was giving the presentation, and I asked the AI salesperson if it was AI, and it lied to me and told me that it was not AI. So,
good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's A&D Mortgage webinar. Today we're going to be talking about smart lending, and we're going to look at a bunch of AI tools with Reanna Walls that will be helpful and hopefully easy to use and inexpensive. So we're going to look at some areas involving avatars, how to use a couple of ChatGPT tools, and a few other ways to help you with your sales calls that are coming. So some quick housekeeping rules. We've disabled our attendees' chats, cameras and microphones, so that you can dedicate all your attention to our speaker. We'd ask you to turn off your cell phones as well, and just put business on pause for an hour. If you've taken the time to join us, we want to make sure you get all the benefits of the information we're going to present to you. We are recording this, so we will be sending a live recording along with the presentation out after about 24 hours, maybe 48, depending on how quickly we can process it. So we'll move on to the next part. So for those of you who are not familiar with A&D Mortgage, we are a nationwide lender. We were recently designated as the #1 non-QM lender by Scotsman Guide. So we're very proud of that, but we're also very big in conventional and government as well. We're at the forefront of mortgage technology, so we're glad to have some stuff here about AI. We recently won a couple of different awards from Housing Wire, Globee, the Stevie Awards for our website, for our quick pricer, and a few other elements. We're working with more than 6,000 brokers pretty much across every state, and we've been in business for over 20 or just shy of 20 years, sorry. And you can expect if you reach out to us, you'll get a call back in usually 30 minutes or less. That's better than Domino's Pizza. We also partner with a sister company called Imperial Fund. They are the company that helps us put our mortgages on the securities market, the capital markets. So with the ability to securitize our own loans, it gives us a lot more flexibility in terms of our non-QM underwriting guidelines and determining who we will lend to. As I mentioned, we are nationwide for the most part. We've added a whole number of more states this year, and we plan on finishing out the map by the end of the year. And if you are interested in doing business purpose only loans with us, you can do that without a license in 40 different states. So with that, I'd like to take a few minutes and introduce our speaker, Reanna Walls. Reanna, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're doing, and how you got interested in using AI tools?
yeah, definitely. So I'm Reanna Walls, and I'm a mortgage broker out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And I got interested in AI primarily because my broker owner introduced me to it. I wasn't really super into that kind of space or aware of that kind of space. I've always been very tech savvy though, and always been very up to date on tech, and always wanted the newest computers, the newest phones, all of that kind of stuff. So definitely interests me in some way to always have the good technology. And then so we just started diving into it right when it started coming out with like ChatGPT at the end of 2022. So ever since kind of the origination of all that stuff, we've been early adopters, I would say.
Mhm.
So I've had my ChatGPT subscription since I think like the month that you could even get one.
Same
So
here.
we've been playing around with it ever since then, and then just kind of keeping an eye on how things are integrating and how things are moving along and progressing. So yeah, just really interested to see where it goes and excited to see what the future holds for us.
All right. Well, I know you want to do some screen sharing and show us a couple of tools that you're using, and maybe give brokers a quick overview how they can use it to generate some more business for themselves. I'll go off camera so we can kind of make it easy for you guys to see the screens. Go ahead.
Alrighty, so let me share my screen. Oh, let me minus out this first though. There we go. Share. Okay, so I'm going to not start with this. This is a little bit of further ahead. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is AI avatars, because I think that AI avatars are going to have the biggest impact for mortgage loan officers when it comes to marketing in particular in the future. And when it comes to sending videos to your clients, things like that. The biggest benefit with using a AI avatar would be the fact that you can send a video from anywhere. So like you could, for instance, be on an airplane or something like that, and you could create a video just by typing in a script and already previously having a AI avatar created of yourself. So what it is you take a video of yourself. The website that I like to use is called HeyGen. This is just the one that I first started using back in like January. I think it's only been out for maybe about 6 to 8 months or something like that. So it's definitely in its early stages. So it's going to be very exciting to see how this progresses over the next couple of years and how much better and better it gets. I feel like it's already improved a little bit just from January to now. I most recently did one on June 5th. That was the video that we did for the marketing for this webinar. That was an AI avatar. So how you create these is you sign up for HeyGen, and it's pretty cheap. It's only like $29, I think, for the lowest cost membership. And you get, I believe, like 15 credits is what they call it. And so like each maybe 30-second to 60-second video would be considered half credit. So that gives you enough to do roughly about 30 videos a month for $29, and then you can just cancel the membership at any time if you wanted to. So how you do this is you take a video of yourself talking about basically nothing for at least 2 minutes. I believe the maximum amount of video you can upload for the template would be like 5 minutes. So you're just kind of talking about anything you want for a couple minutes, making sure that you're pausing between sentences so that it can get the pauses correctly when it's doing the AI avatar. And you're mainly just trying to get a lot of vocabulary spoken into the video so it can get a feel of how you speak and how it sounds when you say certain words. And then you uploaded this into their system here on HeyGen and create an avatar. And then it's going to show you, it's basically going to show you saying whatever you type into the system. So it's going to be your face, your voice, and then whatever you type into the system, it's going to turn that into a video of you. And it even keeps the same background that you have in the video. Or of course you could use some other kind of photo editing software to remove out the background so you can like alternate different backgrounds, I suppose. But I would think it makes more sense to just do a couple different avatars so that way they're in different places. So like this one here that we used for the webinar promotion, this is just at my office at work using our nice podcast mics so that way it came out sounding really well. I would say that the voice part of the avatars is definitely a little bit further than the actual visual, and that might just be me in particular. It's better or worse for some people when they try the AI avatars, just depending on maybe your mannerisms and the way that you speak. But it's definitely pretty good. Like I posted a AI avatar video on TikTok when we first started doing these back in like February, and it actually got like more views and likes than most of my videos normally do. I don't think that anyone like immediately realized that it was an AI avatar because they don't know me personally, so they might not know the way that I speak or my mannerisms. So yeah, it definitely is pretty realistic. So you could very well use this for social media. And then in the future, I think it's only going to get better and better. And then another benefit to these types of avatars is that you can have them speak in other languages in your voice. So say you have a client who speaks French or something like that, and they know that you don't speak French, but you just want to like add that fun little touch and maybe send them a video when they're closing and like saying, "Hey, congratulations on buying your new home and moving to the United States," or something like that. And you just want to say it in French. You could have that AI avatar video come out in French, sounding exactly like your voice of you fluently speaking French. And there's like a bunch of different languages that you can do. So this is probably the one that I'm most excited about to see it progress in the future. and just see how actually realistic it can get and how close it can get to you yourself. So the video or the voice is definitely better than the video. So for now, you could also use it as just doing like a voiceover on videos for in your voice if you just didn't want to continuously record a bunch of videos saying things. So that would be HeyGen, which is the avatar.
Hey,
And
Rihanna. So when you're using this, how does it handle things like hand gestures? Does it model off that 2-minute video if you are somebody who speaks with your hands a lot, or does it just kind of keep you still? Because some of them allow you to have a little bit of puppeteering where you can type in the script instructions like give a thumbs up or something like that.
so I don't believe it has a thumbs up, but I'll just show you like an
Okay.
example of one of my videos that I did. So this is just like me talking, especially since I have the audio turned off, it might be even more noticeable that this is an AI avatar. Like you can see that my mouth is not quite right. Like the way that like maybe if you didn't know me, you might not notice that, but it's just not quite shaped right. And then the hand gestures actually look pretty natural, like, if I'm just someone who talks with my hands a lot, which I usually am when I'm in these types of videos, it just kind of has your hands moving throughout the conversation, and then see there's just like a thumbs up, but that's just taking it from the actual template video that you did. So I don't believe you can tell it to do specific things at certain times. It's just going to put in hand gestures if you did hand gestures in the template video. Does that make sense?
Yeah, got it. Because that's usually a big red flag, whether it's a person or not.
Right, whether there's just, like, offhand gestures. I feel like for me, it's mostly the mouth. That's the thing I notice the most about myself, at least, is the mouth for sure. But, like, I think this one, um, the actual, like, templates that they have on here tend to look a little bit better. Like, if you look at this one here, I'll just play this one. Hey, Reanna Walls, your instant avatar is ready. Feel free to create videos with it. Also, click the feedback button to share what you think. Hope you enjoy. So it's just like a lot of hand gestures going on there. So I think you could play around with it for sure. And like if you spent enough time doing the templates, you could get it substantially better than I have just by like perfecting the template video that you do and making sure to use just the right amount of hand motions, but not too much hand motions, if that makes sense. So yeah, you could definitely get it a lot better than mine, but I'm excited to see how much better they get in the future. Um, other than HeyGen and the avatars, just to kind of give everyone like a general idea about what AI is, because I think a lot of people don't actually understand what it actually is. They kind of just know that it's technically stands for artificial intelligence and that it's like a computer thinking for you. It's not necessarily so what we have currently right now is not actually real AI. It's kind of like AI light or AI weak. It's not really like a full version of AI because it's not actually thinking on its own. So I have a couple of little things about AI I wanted to just share real quick that would kind of be interesting for people to understand if they're not like currently super heavy into AI. So this just kind of goes over that it's expected that the AI market is supposed to be exceed 500 billion by the end of 2024, which is insane. Healthcare savings are going to be expected to save 150 billion annually by 2026, which is crazy. And the reason why that could happen is because AI, because it's basically like a super smart person, but not necessarily just thinking on their own. It's from the data that it's receiving and that it's deciphering that data like a million times faster and more efficiently and more accurately than a human could. So when it has like test results and stuff for healthcare, it's going to be able to resolve or understand that far quicker and more accurately than a human could. So that saves a lot of money. And it's going to have a massive economic impact on the global scale of economy of roughly 15.7 trillion by 2030. And it's expected that 97 million jobs will be created by 2025 in fields like data analysis and machine learning. So it's definitely going to eliminate a lot of jobs, but it's also going to create a lot of jobs. And a lot of people are always wondering, will AI kind of get rid of mortgage loan officers? I don't think it's necessarily going to get rid of mortgage loan officers as salespeople. I think it's going to eliminate a lot of the things that we currently do on the back end. So there's a type of AI called ocular AI, and that is where it actually reads something on the screen. So if there's like a bank statement or a pay stub or tax returns, it's going to be able to visually see what's actually on that entire screen, and it's going to be able to read the information and decipher it for you. So it's going to be able to more accurately calculate income and things like that, and verify bank statements to make sure that there's no large deposits, things like that, far quicker than a mortgage loan officer would be able to themselves. So I think in the future, mortgage loan officers are primarily going to be marketing. Our whole thing is mostly just going to be marketing and maybe doing more complex things like with non-QM lending, for instance. I feel like that is probably going to take a lot longer for AI to catch on to, just because there's so many different discrepancies and different guidelines and different things going on. Like every lender has their own guidelines. I think it's going to be a lot slower to adapt with those types of things. But like conventional VA, FHA, I think AI is going to be augmenting those types of loan processes a lot more in the future, to where mortgage loan officers are mostly just going to be the customer facing person that just speaks to the client, but doesn't necessarily do a lot of the back end paperwork type stuff. So, okay, so Air AI is another one that I wanted to show you guys, and I'm just going to show you a general example of what it is, so you can understand. I did actually have an Air AI account, but for some reason it's not working right now. So I can't show you like a live example, but this will just kind of give you a general idea of what this is. And we can talk about how this is very likely to have a huge impact on us in the future.
Wix gives you the power of
turn that off. Okay.
I'm not interested, man.
So this is a sales call that AI is doing entirely.
But I'm actually from Apple, and I saw you were checking out Vision Pro and we're about to pre-order, but left the page.
Dude, I don't
I was
have time for
curious,
this
what
right
had you looking into potential? Okay, I can respect that. Can I just ask one question before you go?
now. Fine, shoot. What's up?
Why did you decide not to pre-order the Vision Pros? I saw you changed your mind last minute.
Because they are crazy expensive. I'm gonna get the Meta Quest instead.
I get it. But you saw what happened to Threads, right? Do you think the Meta Quest will end up being a better product than the Vision Pros? Or is it just the price?
I mean, it's mainly about price. I'm sure the Vision Pros are going to be better, but I'm not spending $3,000 on a pair of goggles, my man.
I feel that for sure. Definitely want you to make the best decision for you. But can I offer a different perspective?
I guess so. What's up?
Okay, so something that not a lot of people are aware of. If you take the route of using financing, Vision Pros only come out to a few $100s a month. So although $3,000 sounds like a lot, we can break it up to be more affordable for you. Does that by chance sound more palatable?
Interesting. How would that work?
Yeah, totally. Happy to give you context. Basically, you just fill out your details real fast and can see if you get approved. And if you are approved, it's much more affordable for you.
Okay. So what do we got to do for that?
Awesome. Okay, I'll send it over now. Let me know when you receive it.
Okay, I just got a text. That was quick.
Okay, sweet. Just fill that form out. Like I said, it takes 45 seconds. And once you're done, you'll have your name down for a pre-order of the Vision Pros. Can I help you with anything else?
No, that's awesome. I appreciate it, actually.
Perfect. I'm pumped. We got you on the good side, huh? By the way, who do you got in the Musk versus Zuckerberg fight?
Okay, so the reason why I wanted to show you guys this example is this is definitely something that I think is going to be where the future starts heading for mortgages in particular. I think that a lot more companies, especially the really large ones that currently do a lot of call center loans and outreach via like trigger leads and things like that. I think they are going to start utilizing AI sales reps as soon as they possibly can, especially if it continues to be like allowed to be able to be done. This person would basically sell the client on the mortgage if it was in the mortgage space. They would sell them on the mortgage, and then at this point in time, they would book them on a call with an actual loan officer who's going to go over everything. So this is basically going to be like kind of replacing like a secretary, if you would kind of consider it that way. Somebody who's just going to be booking appointments continuously for you to get on the phone with the client and actually take the loan application or proceed. Or in these cases, the AI person could technically even just get the person to agree to apply for a mortgage or a refinance, things like that. And they could send them the link instantly while they're on the phone, and the person could start filling out the application. They could ask the AI salesperson any questions they have about the application, like, do I need a 2-year history, etc., things like that. So I think it's going to help tremendously for scheduling, getting appointments booked for mortgage loan officers in the future. It's just a matter of whether it's going to continuously be legal. I don't know if that might get outlawed at some point. We'll kind of just see what the future holds there. But yeah, so I think that's going to have a massive impact in the future on mortgage loan officers and where things are headed as far as just having these AI sales reps, especially if we once we get into a refi boom in the next couple of years. I have a feeling that they're going to be practicing this a lot more, especially with the really huge companies like Rocket Mortgage and things like that, and all the national banks and things. I think they're going to be practicing these types of calls, especially, or they're at least going to be preparing for them. So I think that this definitely is going to be part of the future. It's going to be like, imagine like when you call a customer service line and they have like an automated system, and the automated system just does not understand you very well at all. If you guys could tell on this video, it was very realistic sounding. Like, I don't know if that was technically like a real true live call, but if it was, it didn't seem like he really knew that it wasn't a human on the other end. So it's kind of freaky that things are progressing this quickly, and just to think this was 8 months ago. So they've probably improved these even further since then. The one thing that I will say is kind of creepy / I didn't really love is that when I tested it out myself, when I was giving a webinar in person back in February, I tested it live while I was giving the presentation, and I asked the AI salesperson if it was AI, and it lied to me and told me that it was not AI. So I think there's definitely some improvement that's going to need to happen in the future as far as like regulations and making sure that it's not like doing anything unethical, I suppose. I feel like it should have to tell people that it's AI, but it's a matter of, will people even ask? Will they even think to ask? I guess we'll have to see. So that's very exciting in the future to have potentially.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
I've never seen this one, so that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I try to keep up to date on all of these. Mostly my boss sends them all to us, so I was
Yeah.
end up seeing all the cool stuff as soon as it comes out.
Yeah, it's interesting how it programs it to give you those little comments like the Musk Zuckerberg fight, and
Right.
kind of sound human instead of like it's an offshore call
Yeah, and
center.
then when I was testing it out myself, it like specifically, so when you test it out yourself, you can just go to airai.com and you can sign up for an account, and then it like creates this fake phone number. Well, not fake, but it creates a phone number for you to test call, and you can test call yourself. You have to sign up for Twilio as well. It was still pretty cheap though. I think I had like $15 playing around with it. And then so it will call you, and then you can have these like pretend conversations with it. And there's like 8 different voices you can choose from. There's like a British voice, like a Midwestern, there's like a Valley Girl female type voice kind of thing. And then when it answers the phone, it's like it almost like makes it tries super hard to make you not realize that it's AI, because it'll say something along the lines of like, hey, if I've been told that my phone is a little bit laggy today, so if there's a longer pause than normal, or if I interrupt you, it's just because the phone lines are having some issues. So it like tries to make excuses ahead of time for normal things that would make you know that it's AI, and so you're just like, oh, is it AI or is it just their phone lines messed up? That's kind of interesting. And then the other things that I definitely think are fun to play around with AI that could be useful, and I've seen a lot of people actually utilize these, would be the AI headshots, which the AI headshots have been around for a bit longer, I would say, than a lot of the stuff. I think AI headshots kind of came about right around the same time ChatGPT did, so like a year and a half ago. Some of them do look really good, and I would say that you could very easily get away with using AI headshots like on business cards, things like that, things where it's going to be in like a small format where it's not going to be like blown up really big. And I'll just show you guys a couple examples of when I did the AI headshots. So it had me upload just like a handful of photos of myself, just like I did like ones with and without makeup. I should have honestly done all of them with no glasses on because I think that threw it off a little bit. But like this one, for instance, I think does look pretty realistic. Like if you didn't know me specifically and you just saw that on like a business card, you'd probably guess that that's really actually me. So that's fun to play around with and something that could be useful if you just like absolutely do not want to get your headshot done for any given reason. Like, I don't know, like you need to get new business cards, but you just had like surgery and you have like a scar on your face that's going to be there for like 6 months. AI headshots definitely could be very beneficial in situations like that, just to get something done really quick so you can get some new business cards ready. And then so those are definitely fun to play around with. And then the other one that is very useful to at least know how to do, especially if you have a lot of real estate agent partners and you might need to teach them, or maybe it's a newer real estate agent and they are not aware of this yet, definitely play around with virtual staging. Virtual staging is probably one of the like most fun to play around with. The one that I used was just literally called virtualstaging.com. So you can just go in there and add in specific things to the property. So this is very beneficial, I would say, for when real estate agents are selling properties that are not quite high enough of a price range to make sense to pay for staging of the property. Say it's like, I don't know, 500,000 and below, depending on what market you're in. That could be expensive or could be inexpensive. So someone that wouldn't actually be normally paying for staging, but the property is completely empty, it could be beneficial for them to do the virtual staging just so they can give clients an idea, or prospective buyers when they're looking on Zillow and things like that, an idea of like what would fit in that area. So you could show like, this is like just a bedroom in this one. So this is like a photo of like what it looked like with nothing in the photo, and then this is what they're showing with the photo. So like it looks really realistic of like a bed with some end tables and some pictures above it. So it just gives people a better idea of like what could fit in this space. Like this looks far better than if you were to just have just like an empty deck that has a grill on it. So it gives people a really good idea of like what would actually fit in that space. And kind of picture themselves living in that home and give them ideas of maybe how they could end up decorating that home. So I think it's very beneficial for real estate agents to know how to utilize this stuff, especially if they have not utilized it before and they're just posting properties on Zillow or Redfin or Realtor.com and they're just empty with nothing in the property. I think that it's a really good idea to at least do a virtual staging, maybe add like photos, like 6 photos without anything in the rooms, and then 6 photos with them virtually staged, just to give prospective buyers an idea of like what would fit in that space and how it might look when it's actually furnished. I think that could be very helpful. And then the other one that I think is really cool to play around with that has progressed quite a bit since the beginning would be this one over here, which is Midjourney. So Midjourney is a photo creation tool, and it is insane. If you look up like how Midjourney used to look when it first came out, it was like a very I'll just show you what it looked like, Midjourney then and now. So this is an example of like when Midjourney first came out. It was like very not very good. Like it kind of looked like a watercolor painting or something that was just like maybe from like a cartoon or something. And then it's just gotten progressively far more realistic. So now when you look at Midjourney, there's like photos of humans on here that just look a lot more realistic in there. Let me move this over. And just like anything that you want to create. So this was probably just like something maybe from like a scary movie somebody wanted to create. This is like an alleyway. This one is like actually something that looks like it would be like a painting that someone did that would be really cool to hang up. This one is like, see, this is like an actual human. Like you wouldn't believe that that's not actually a real human. But that is like not a real human. But they just make it through Midjourney and turn it into a photo. So it's really anything that you want to do, you can just type in there. Like this is one that I did earlier today where I just put realistic photo of a blonde woman wearing a blazer and glasses with a wedding ring and band on her finger, working at a desktop laptop. And then it just creates 4 different images for you to choose from. So like if you're doing some kind of marketing where you want to show maybe like a client signing a document at the closing table, you could put that in there. So yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do with it. The one thing I will say that AI for some reason always has trouble with, and it's getting better, but it's not quite perfect yet, is fingers. I don't know. I don't know why it is, but AI has trouble with fingers in specific. And I thought it was getting better because I was like, oh, this one actually looks really good. Like, look at this hand up here. You know, it's got her fingernails and they look pretty normal. And that one looks like okay too. But then like, look at this. Look at these fingers. Like, I don't know what's going on with
Oh
them.
yeah, she slammed them in the door.
I guess. I don't know. For some reason, AI just gets really confused with fingernails. It's like it's bane of its existence, but it's getting better definitely. Because there was some like back when the AI headshots first came out, it was like really really bad. Like you would see people's AI headshots that they would share on like Facebook and stuff, and their hand would like their fingers would be like teeny tiny little mini hand. It was really weird. I don't know why I did that. But yeah, so you can tell it to create anything that you want. Like I had it create a house with 3 cars in the driveway, and it just created. So this is where it actually gave me like options. So it'll give you options first with this with Midjourney. So you tell it what to do, and it'll usually give you 4 options. So because I just said a house with 3 cars in the driveway, it gave me like 3 entirely different houses. This one kind of looks like it's from like the 1960s, and then like an 70s one, and then maybe like a 90s, and then now like a new age with super nice cars. And then you can tell it which type of picture you like the best. So like I clicked on the number 1, and then it ends up giving you 4 versions of that same photo. So you can just continuously narrow it down to get the exact photo that you want. And these could be super helpful when you're making flyers and things like that. You could just like put this like really cool looking house on there. And it would be able to show you what that looks like. But you can do like literally anything with Midjourney. You can tell it to do anything that you want, and it's going to make it look really realistic. Like I would say this definitely looks like a human 100%, but that's like not human at all. That's just like, I don't know, it probably took like bits and pieces from like a million different photos of women and just meshed those all together into one human. But they did a really good job. Like that hair looks perfect with all the like extra little flyaways too. It just like does all the details to make everything look really nice. I do think it's kind of funny that for some reason AI must have a preferential treatment to Apple because it always seems to put Apple laptops even though you don't specify it. So for Midjourney, it is $10 a month. And I believe you can kind of create unlimited images. It gives you like a cap on how many fast images you can do. I think mine said it was like 3.33 hours of fast image creation. I've never had it take longer than that. And whenever I played around with it, I'm not doing more than like maybe 50 photos that I'm playing around with in a month. So it's not like a ton of stuff that I'm doing. But so it's $10 with Midjourney. It is kind of confusing to set up. I don't know if you, Carl, I don't know if you've played around with Midjourney, but it is kind of confusing to set up because you
Yeah,
have
no, I haven't played with Midjourney. Usually I've used GPT art or Jasper art to try to do some but I usually use it more for text generation than imagery. Real quick, I'm going to go back to a question that somebody had earlier in the thing. We'll get to some of the other questions, but which service was it that you used to generate that headshot you showed us earlier of yourself?
Yeah,
That...
so that was Aragon AI. I think I honestly completely forgot to mention the website that I use.
Okay.
So that would be Aragon AI. This is the best one that I could find. If you like look here, it's got really good reviews, 4.8 stars out of 356 reviews. So that means people were generally pretty happy with it. And these are a bunch of examples of like how it took like a photo of someone and then turned it into these. And they look really good. Like it comes back with, I think it was like want to say it was like $15 for Aragon AI. It had you upload like, I think it was like 7 to 10 photos, and then it comes back with like 50 photos or like a crazy amount of photos. So like when I was going through and picked out these ones, these were just like, how many do I have here? It was like 10 or like 8 or 9.
15, 20.
So this is one is where the AI starts. So that would be 7, 9. So these were the 9 best photos. Some of them were absolutely horrible. Like it was not a good photo. There was like a couple of them where it put glasses on me and there was only one lens. My other eye, I guess, doesn't need a lens on my glasses. So these were just the best ones. I posted them all on social media and got like feedback from a bunch of people of like which ones they actually thought looked the most realistic for me.
Mhm.
And these are the ones that they said looked the best for me. And so I would agree. I think they look pretty decent. It's usually the eyes. It's the eyes when it comes to the AI headshots that it isn't quite sure about. Like, I don't know what's going on with the shape of my eye on this one.
Eyes and fingers
Yeah, it's eyes and fingers, man. I don't know
and
what it
toes.
is. But yeah, I haven't seen any with toes.
Yeah.
I
And
imagine it probably would get confused too, though.
yeah, and there was another earlier question as well, going back to AI. Where they, regardless of the pricing model, they're having some challenges using it. They are looking at using MS Azure. I'm not sure if you've tried that or if you know of any other voice bot platforms that might be an alternative to Air AI, even if that one's your preference.
So I have not played around with any other ones than Air AI. I wasn't aware that there was another one. What was the other one that they said it was called?
MS Azure, so I think it's a Microsoft's. It might be part of their Copilot program.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I've never played around with any other than Air AI. I
Okay.
don't know if maybe Air AI just like started having issues more recently. From what I recall, there was some kind of regulation that they were trying to put into place where AI sales bots couldn't technically outbound call anyone. They could only receive inbound calls. So I don't know if maybe that has kind of like put a pause on those types of softwares.
Mhm.
It's possible for sure. With Air AI, I don't know if it's something that I would necessarily recommend anyone try to be using quite yet. I think I would probably wait until it's a little bit more,
Mature.
yeah, a little bit more mature. A lot of these things, especially they're all very use case situations. Like I would only really use them in certain situations, like the headshots I would really only use for like small font things. With Air AI, I don't know if I would even technically use that one yet because it's so new and fresh, and I don't know if you legally can outbound call, but I would definitely check with your compliance about that to see if you can use it. I mean, you could play around with it a little bit. I just don't know if it's quite mature enough to where I would be risking my business on it. It's kind of a good way to think about it. But with like the avatars, I think that'd be fine. You'd be fine using the AI avatars for social media and things like that. It really just depends what you're using for. I know there's a mortgage broker who's like really huge in the broker community, named Brian something. I can't recall his name, but his company's called Modern Lending Mortgage Broker Shop. I was at an event recently and he was showing that he like actually sends the AI avatar videos to his clients when they're pre-approved and just sends them a video saying like, you've been pre-approved for a VA loan for this dollar amount, yada yada. So I know that a lot of people are actually already using the avatars. So that's something you could use now. The Air AI is mainly just really cool to keep an eye on and see where it goes in the future, but I don't know if I would recommend quite using it yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then other than that, the last bit that I want to spend a good portion of the time on that I think everybody should be using right now, and I think that if you're not using it yet, you're crazy, would be ChatGPT. So that's where we're gonna spend the rest of the bulk of the time on, be ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is like the mother or father of AI when it comes to the industry currently. It's owned by OpenAI. I believe it was Microsoft who originally like started OpenAI, and then they still own. I looked it up recently. I think they own like 49% of it, but they don't actually have any control over it at all. So ChatGPT kind of can do a little bit of everything. So that's like everything I feel like is kind of inspired by ChatGPT. You can do just so many things with it. Like you can use ChatGPT to analyze your social media data. Like you can pull information off of websites and put it in here and then have it analyzed. You can ask it any question you want in the whole world. You can ask it mathematical questions. You can upload an essay that you wrote and have it grammatically correct it. You can ask it for ideas to post on social media content, anything like that. So you can really do mostly anything with ChatGPT.
Yeah, somebody actually has a good question that I think GPT might be the answer for. They were kind of interested in if it could set up something similar to an Excel spreadsheet with columns and do data analysis if you were to load in particularly like non-QM underwriting guidelines from multiple lenders, and then have it bucket, what each lender does for debt to income, credit score requirements, income documentation. Do you find that GPT is capable of that level of analysis and output?
I could definitely see it being capable of that analysis. I've never tested that in particularly, but we could definitely try. I mean, I don't see why we couldn't try. Maybe I should just let's ask it to see if it can do that. Could I upload? And I feel like in that case, you wouldn't we wouldn't really be talking about like guidelines. We'd be talking more about like matrices, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah. So you're kind of just like comparing, 50% down required for this credit score or 20% down required for this FICO score, kind of those kind of scenarios and like max loan amounts, things like that, and just comparing that way. Yeah, that's a good question. And the hard part with that, now that I'm thinking about it more though, the hard part with that is that a lot of lenders don't have that information on a PDF. Like there's a good amount of lenders, wholesale lenders, that have that information just like on a page on their website. So I don't know how you would necessarily like upload it all into ChatGPT, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the issue with that too, now the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I don't know if I would recommend somebody doing that, because with non-QM especially, I don't know if A&D does this really, but with a lot of lenders that I work with, because I specialize in non-QM, that's like that is all of the business that I do. The guidelines change so frequently, so I don't know if I would really want to be creating this like thing of all the guidelines with a bunch of different lenders and then trying to utilize that forever when the guidelines change on like
And it may be just a quick use case scenario where they've got 5 different bank statements and they want to see which lender's the most flexible on bank statement loans. But okay, so I think we kind of have potentially answered that broker's question. But yeah, sorry, go ahead. And that level of analysis or the ability to upload those documents is only available in GPT-4 and higher. I think 3.5 still doesn't do it, and they only just released that 4.0, or I don't know what they're calling the new one.
Yeah,
a couple weeks ago.
This is like in the way of where it says that. Yeah, it's 4.
That one.
4.0. Yeah, so there's a couple different versions, and the 4.0 has only been around since I think January of this year. And then now they have the 4.0. So I mean, honestly, I think ChatGPT probably could analyze documents the way that mortgage broker was asking. I just don't know if I would really want to do that, because I personally just like to check constantly on every website for each of the lenders to make sure it's the most up-to-date information. And then, so you definitely can take like Excel spreadsheets though and upload them into ChatGPT and have them analyze them. The biggest thing that I think that ChatGPT is really good for is just general questions and coming up with ideas. I think if you have, say you're a branch manager for a mortgage lender and you have a loan officer who's coming on that's never been in mortgages at all, they're just starting fresh on their social media, they want to specialize in first-time home buyers or something like that, I think ChatGPT is incredible for coming up with ideas for social media content. Same thing with real estate agents. I think that it's really good for coming up with content ideas, especially on a basic level. Just kind of going over different guidelines and going over different ideas of things that you can make videos about. It's really good for that. It's also really good for coming up with things to say on videos. Like for instance, we have the mortgage broker shop that I work at. We have our own portal where we can post social media content and we can upload a reel that we're making a video about. And then it'll use AI to create a caption for the video. So it's really good at just like coming up with ideas. So like you could just like write in here saying like, write a caption for me about a first time home buyer who is excited to build equity and just close. So you could tell it something like that, and it's going to come up with a bunch of different responses. It's even going to add the emojis on there. So it's going to make and the hashtags. So it's just, you can do basically anything you want with social media. ChatGPT is able to do. So it can come up with lots of different ideas for you. It can come up with a social media posting calendar. You can ask it to give you ideas of what to post for 30 days straight. In the future, I know that the broker owner at the company I work for tried to get ChatGPT to be able to read through all the guidelines for like the Fannie Mae guideline book and the Freddie Mac guideline book, and then like the VA guides to see if you would be able to continuously ask it guideline questions. It didn't quite do so well with that yet. I think it was just too much information for it to decipher between. And when it comes to things like that, you definitely don't want to risk it not being correct. But I'm 100% certain that that's going to be there in the future, probably within like maybe the next year, where it's going to be able to perfect things like that, where you'll be able to upload a document that's 4,000 pages long and have it decipher through that information and be able to ask it questions. Because right now you definitely can do that on a smaller scale. Like one of the things that ChatGPT can do is you can upload a PDF book. So this is one that we had uploaded for $100 million Leads by Alex Hormozy, which is a sales book. So you can ask it questions from the perspective of the author of the book, and then it will be able to answer anything. So I had uploaded Atomic Habits. So you could ask it, for instance, like, what would be a great habit to start with to become more efficient with your business day? And it'll come up with ideas for you based on things that are in that book, kind of pretending like the person you're asking is the author of the book. So this one, the answer for that says, a great habit to start with to become more efficient with your business day is the 2-minute rule. This rule, highlighted in Atomic Habits, suggests that when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. This approach makes it easy to begin a task, reduces procrastination, and it helps build consistency. So it's basically answering that like it would be the author of the book. So it's really cool that you can kind of just play around with it and pretend to ask things. And ChatGPT can also create images, which is really cool. So like this is one that I asked it to do earlier, which this one did not actually turn out. I don't know what it did with this lady's hair. So when it comes to humans, I would probably stick with Midjourney because Midjourney is a lot better at humans. But this is one I meant to show you guys. It was a lot better. It's just asking it for a image of a single family home that is roughly 3,000 square feet, 2 stories, and has some trees. So this is a beautiful photo of a single family home that you could easily put on like a flyer or a social media post. Like anything you want, you can create with these systems. And with ChatGPT, if you're going to be creating mostly images of stuff that do not involve humans, I think ChatGPT is great for that. And that way you're just paying for the one membership with the 4.0 or whatever they are currently calling it, the paid for subscription, because there's only 2 options, either the free for ChatGPT or the paid for subscription, which is $20 a month. I think that it's definitely worth it to just pay for ChatGPT, unless for some reason you really need to be creating images of actual humans that look super realistic. That's when I would add on the Midjourney. But for properties and creating images like these, I think ChatGPT is wonderful for, so you could use these in flyers and things like that. So ChatGPT, you can kind of just use for anything as far as like simple things, coming up with idea for social media posts, having it rewrite your emails, having it rewrite your descriptions. I use it a lot for that, especially if I'm writing out a really long email. I will just copy and paste it into ChatGPT and have it correct my grammar and kind of clean things up and make it sound a little bit better. So it's kind of like you just like always have an editor on staff that you're not actually paying other than just that subscription fee. So it's really good for things like that. I would watch out for sometimes doing it verbatim when it comes to social media. So like if you ask it to write you a script for social media, I don't think that I would read it word for word and post that on social media, or especially not copy and paste it word for word without making any edits to social media, because I honestly believe that Meta, mainly Facebook, Instagram, can tell if it was written by AI when you post it on there. Or if you're reading something and it sounds exactly like it was written by AI, I think that the social media algorithms can see that and may not push your content ahead if it can tell that it's AI. But if you change up a little bit of words, and take general ideas from ChatGPT, I think that's where it really shines. And then just make it to where it has your personality kind of fit in there. But when it comes to emails, nobody's, there's no algorithms reading through your emails. So you definitely could just like write out an email, have ChatGPT make it sound way more professional, copy and paste that into your email and send it off to a client or a business proposition or anything like that. And I think it is very excellent for those things. And then for ChatGPT, it currently does not have full access to the internet. When it first got launched, there was an extension for Bing, and I don't believe it has that anymore. Yeah, they got rid of it. So it was on there, I think, for like maybe 4 or 5 months, and I think people were abusing it in some way or another and doing things that they shouldn't be doing connected to the internet. So they turned that off. So now ChatGPT is primarily just they update it every year. So last year they updated it in April of 2023, and then now they just updated it again in April 2024. So it does have up-to-date information from the internet up to April 2024. So it is really good at things like that. Just being able to read any information on the internet and give you answers to any questions up to that date. I think they'll probably give it access to the internet at some point once they maybe can try to find out some kind of safety measures that they could put into place to make sure that it doesn't get too crazy, because you don't want AI to go awry. And then aside from that, oh, and I did want to mention, I don't know if anybody has noticed this, but I thought this was a cool feature for the internets. Is that with Google Chrome now, if you're using Safari, I highly recommend getting rid of it and using Google Chrome, because Google Chrome is just way better. But when you search on Google now, like if I search, what was I looking up earlier? Let's just Google something random. What? Oh, that's not going to be a good one. How often should you replace your MacBook? So Google Chrome now gives you AI answers for information, which is really cool in my opinion, because as somebody who's been an avid Googler my entire life, just searching for stuff constantly and always trying to like figure out the answers to random questions, especially since I'm quite a bit of a nutrition nerd too, so that's stuff that I research a lot. And now Google Chrome uses AI to decipher through information on the internet. So it's instead of you having to sift through like 40 different websites to find the answer to a question to try to like, figure out like, well, this website says this answer, this website says this answer, which is the correct answer. Now it's using AI to compute all of that information from billions of different websites to kind of give you an average answer of all of those things. So this right here is just asking how often should you replace your MacBook, and it's giving the answer of like every 4 to 5 years, and it's kind of basing that on the consensus of all the different websites and what kind of the average answer is between them all. And then it will give you like different articles that it recommends that would probably be the most reliable. So this is something that came out, I want to say like the last like three-ish months, 3 to 4
Yeah,
months.
yeah, I've seen that recently too.
Yeah, and it's really cool, especially if you're somebody who Googles stuff way too much. It just saves you a lot of time to not have to go through everything. And this is something.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Google as well, how do you find the current state of Bard versus GPT, if you even use Bard?
Bard.
Yeah, that's Google's version of ChatGPT.
I have not used it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I do recall hearing that other software developers were trying to create their own version of AI.
Yeah, I think
Whatever.
GPT is light years ahead.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, from what I've heard though, is that ChatGPT slash OpenAI is just so much further ahead at this point that I don't know if any of the other ones are ever really going to be able to catch up. Because the way that you have to think about it is with artificial intelligence, it moves so rapidly that by the time it's already been, a year and a half since the inception of OpenAI slash ChatGPT, it's already like so far ahead of where it first started. So all these other companies, if they're just now trying to create an AI, they're at the starting point of where ChatGPT was when it first started. So they're just not going to be able to ever catch up because ChatGPT slash OpenAI is always going to be improving and progressing as well. So there's not really a way for it to really catch up unless ChatGPT, OpenAI were to just like shut down for a period of time.
Yeah. Oh, and somebody pointed out, shows you how long it's been since I've used Bard. They've apparently renamed it Gemini.
Okay, yeah,
So
that sounds familiar, Gemini.
yeah, okay. So, yeah, and then we have another broker who's recommending that he uses GPT to do some stuff like contract analysis to verify things like names that are misspelled or income verification, signatures, that kind of stuff. So thanks for our audience for recommending a couple other uses for AI tools.
Yeah, I'm like, now I feel like I have a follow-up question on that. So he's just uploading like a purchase contract PDF to ChatGPT?
It's not really specific. It just says it's pretty good for contract analysis, like verifying signatures or misspelled names. So it probably just will recognize an inconsistency
Okay.
and tell you, on one document it says Jim, the other says James.
So real quick, because I didn't realize how late it was already.
Yeah,
One thing
yeah.
that I wanted to talk about before, since we only have 4 minutes left, that I didn't quite get to yet, that's really new with ChatGPT slash OpenAI, is they have this option now on the mobile app. So if you download the mobile app, just like on your phone, there's an option where you can click this little, I don't know if you can, it's hard for, I think I have to put my phone in front of me for you to be able to see it. If you click this little headphone button,
Mhm.
if you click that, you can actually speak to ChatGPT now. It kind of sounds, the voice sounds similar to if you ever watched the movie Her, which was
Yep.
about AI. It sounds like that, and you can actually like talk to it and have conversations with it. So I was testing it out earlier, and you can use it as role playing. So you can have it pretend to be a home buyer and have it give you objections. And then you can, if you can't figure out a way to get over those objections, you can ask it how to get over those objections, and it can continuously coach you. So that's something that I think
Yeah.
very valuable for people to be playing around.
In fact, I think I remember reading like 2 weeks ago, Scarlett Johansson was threatening to sue OpenAI for the
Sounds like her.
usage of. Yeah, well, that's exactly what they said. Okay, well, this is great. We don't really have any more questions that have come in. So I think we can, if you can turn the screen share back over to my
Yes.
co-partner, and we'll kind of do the quick wrap-up slides. And folks, if you still want to ask questions, go ahead and we'll answer them just as soon as I finish up my little portion.
How do I get it back to Zoom? There we go.
We got it.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, so let me just jump into the wrap-up slides. So again, we really thank you for showing us all these really cool tools. It kind of goes into exactly what we try to tell our broker partners and people who have yet to work with us. But we're here to help you grow your business, not just with loans, but with education as well. We like to kind of think of ourselves as a mortgage educator as much as a mortgage lender. And in terms of being a partner with us, we really kind of focus on 4 major areas. kind of our 4 pillars of our work philosophy here, which is we've done everything we can to streamline the loan process as much as humanly and now AI possible. We have a host of people here who are experts in various aspects of underwriting, processing, post-closing, marketing. So we're really here to do everything we can to get you to the closing as fast as we can. And then we, as I mentioned, with Imperial Fund as our partner, now go back to the last slide. Really quick, it provides us the last 2 components, which is the ability to develop very flexible underwriting guidelines for our non-QM products. But we also have a very active research and IT and capital markets department that are always seeing what's happening on the landscape so that we can be hopefully the first on the market to develop new products that will help lenders or attract different types of borrowers before everyone else. So again, we're really here to help everybody grow their business and get to the closings. And as I mentioned about education, we do regular webinars. So the next one we're going to really look at next week, next Thursday, with somebody from our capital markets team is what the mortgage-backed securities market does, why it's important in today's environment for brokers, and also what it's like to work with lenders like ourselves who do self-securitizations and why that has some advantages over other types of lenders. And then if you're interested or just need a bit of a reminder, we do a monthly broker orientation at the beginning of the month. We're going to do this one just a little bit after the 4th of July. Again, we do kind of a quick overview of our programs, our tech packages, things that the marketing team does to help brokers grow their business. So it's pretty active, and we do spend a big chunk of that as well on some of the AI integrated platforms that we have. So we're a pretty big adopter of AI as well. And we recently launched our updated or enhanced broker portal that we're calling AIM, Artificial Intelligence in Mortgage. So we would encourage people to give it a shot. So if you're not a partner with us, feel free to scan the QR code either now or after we send you the presentation. It'll take you right to our website. You can fill out a broker package and hopefully we can get you approved fairly quickly. With that, again, there's, let me see, nope, no additional question. Oop, wait a minute, take it back. There's one more question. Yeah, privacy concerns about uploading data to GPT, as well as some legal cases that have surrounded data breaches. What would we say to that? I will not give any legal advice simply because it's just not smart. But I would always advise you consult with your compliance department to see what your company regulations are regarding that. It's always best to be conservative. I think we're going to see eventually Congress will probably have to weigh in, or the courts, on GPT. I mean, this is, it took 15 years for the courts and Congress to start getting involved in regular social media. But clearly we've had hearings going because there is a race in terms of AI development between the US and the Chinese markets. So Congress is very aware that AI is here to stay and they want to be at the forefront of it. But I think it's still a little too early. It's a little bit Wild West. But you should always take the privacy of your customer data as like the most tantamount thing. If you're going to use that data, I would redact anything that's personal and avoid that kind of potential. Because the NPDPI violations are pretty stiff. So just whatever you do, do it carefully and consult your compliance officers. Great. All right. Well, with that, again, Reanna, I want to thank you for a really interesting hour conversation, and we'll send the recording out to folks as soon as it's ready. And as you're checking out, there'll be a brief 5-6 question survey. Let us know how we did. Give us some recommendations for any additional topics that you might want to see us cover in the future. Maybe some more in-depth specific things on AI. We could bring Reanna back, or we'll do another AI panel. So we look forward to it. So we hope you guys have great rest of your day, great rest of the month, and happy mortgage hunting.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.
Appreciate everyone coming.
Bye.
Bye.